So, a few weeks back, I got this. This is the Decaf Project pack from the one and only internet's weird coffee man, James Hoffman, with special thanks to Sample Coffee AU for shipping these out to New Zealand, the corner of nowhere in the world. This video is way beyond the due date, so to say, but this is because I usually drink my coffee on a somewhat boring drip down filter coffee, and I wanted to do these beans a bit more justice than that, and also have some consistency around the coffee shots, including my laziness in editing this video. So I decided to buy a couple of new coffee brewing gear to train upon, including this tiny little mocha pot, and now a training montage of me making coffee. With all that practice out of the way, I decided to use an AeroPress to drink the Decaf Project beans, as I was able to get some good consistency and it was very simple to use. About the mocha pot, don't put them in the dishwasher, and as for the reusable Nespresso capsules, yeah, don't buy these, it's a waste of money. Now that I'm comfortable with AeroPress with a preferred setup of about 17 grams of coffee with 150 milligram-ish of water with 2 minutes of brewing time before press, I got to preparing the coffee from the coffee pack. Here are the 4 cups of coffee prepared. The unprocessed coffee beans in the white mug, Swiss water decaf in the grey, carbonic natural in the black, and the ethyl acetate in the Pikachu mug. To start, the unprocessed coffee. For me, the overall aroma wasn't too strong, but just enough to be over the halfway line, and the quality was great, so it gets a maximum marks. As for the acidity, it was a little high from what I usually like, so again, somewhere between the middle and the highest mark, but because the taste of the sourness was somewhere closer to a dislike, it was closer to the middle. I've not tasted too much sweetness in these beans, so it's right in the middle. And the body finish for the coffee was more lighter tasting coffee with a long finish. Again, the quality of coffee itself was pretty good, so it's above average. Next was the Swiss water processed coffee. In general, the decaf coffee seemed to have less aroma than the unprocessed one, but the quality don't fall from the original. As for the acidity, this is where I was surprised. The Swiss water seemed to have a lower acidity, both in the taste and the quality of it. The sweetness didn't differ too much from the original, but the overall body and the finish of the coffee felt lighter and shorter. I enjoyed this taste, so the quality portions score quite highly for the body and finish. The carbonic natural coffee was in similar vein to the Swiss water coffee, but for me it excelled more than the former. If anything, the acidity was much lower, shorter, and had a pleasant final taste to the entire taste of the coffee. Therefore, most of the scoring will be very similar to the Swiss water coffee, just with the acidity having a better mark, and the body and finish being lighter and shorter. Nothing devalued the quality of the coffee though. As for the ethyl acetate, I'm sorry, this was truly a horrid experience for me. Oh. The coffee was way too sour and barely tasted like coffee at all. Interestingly, the coffee beans themselves also had a strong alcoholic smell to it. The ethyl part of the ethyl acetate really was on show, and unfortunately, this wasn't the coffee for me. Overall scoring, I gave the unprocessed coffee 6.5, and it wasn't bad coffee. The reasoning is more that the next two were really good. So the Swiss water gets a 7, and the Carbon Natural was an 8 and easily my favorite coffee, which I was very surprised. Finally, I probably don't need to say much for the ethyl acetate, but yeah. In conclusion, I really enjoyed the entire process, and even later when I was using some of the leftover beans for the first 3, minus the ethyl acetate one, my opinions didn't really change much. I was really surprised how similar a decaf coffee could taste, and maybe even better than the real thing for some of these lighter roasted beans, and surely it's going to be something I may add to my coffee ritual. So, sending another thanks to James Hoffman for setting up this interesting testing opportunity from this weird little burb, and hopefully this video interested some other coffee lovers to try a decaf too. Bye bye.